Last week, I did a video on the correct footwork and lower body movement in the backswing. And as requested, you guys wanted to see the part 2, which is transition and the downswing. So in today's video, I'm going to take you through the footwork, the knee action, and overall lower body action that we want to be seeing in transition and the downswing to ensure you have the most consistent and powerful golf swing possible. So if you're interested in seeing that video on the lower body action in the backswing, click the link up there. That'll take you over to it, and then you will be able to improve your lower body sequencing in the backswing. Now it's crucial you get that right so that then we can do what we're about to talk about today in the downswing. But let me just run you through again what we sort of spoke about in that lesson. So to start with the feet, we saw the pressure was pretty even, 50-50, maybe a little bit more on the left leg if you're hitting an iron. As players then turn back, the pressure would move into the ball of the lead foot and the lead heel would lighten slightly, and the pressure would move slightly back into the heel of the right foot. Not too crazy though, just slightly, but mainly we want to be seeing the pressure on the inside part of the trail foot. Now from there we would see that the knees did change flex, trail leg lost some flex, lead leg gained some flex, and roughly the lead knee was over the inside part of the foot at the top of the backswing. And then from there we saw the trail hip turn back and around, and that gave us a great foundation right there to where now we can talk about, okay, how do we then push off our trail side? How do we push out the ground with our lead side in order to get into this awesome impact position? So like I said, check out that video, but now let's jump into the transition and the downswing. So let's firstly talk about how the pressure is going to move in transition. So if I take us to roughly around this left arm parallel position in the backswing, here we know the pressure is more in the ball of the lead foot, lead heel is light, and the pressure is more in the inside part of the trail foot. Now from here, this is crucial in this position because what we are now going to start the process of doing is shifting our pressure back towards the target. Now as you can see, I said this is happening roughly starting around left arm parallel in the backswing. So one of the key things you have to understand is we start to shift before we finish the backswing. Very similar to as if I was throwing a ball. You can see I start to step and my foot starts to go towards the target as my arm is still going back. So we do start to shift back towards the target before we finish the backswing. So as we do this, we are now going to push off the right leg and press into the ground with the left leg. So part of the reason why it's really important we understand where the pressure is in the right leg is because essentially our right leg in the downswing pushes our body in this direction. And the way that we want it to happen is from the inside part of the foot. I see so many golfers with this right foot, they get to the top and then they go onto the toe and they spin out and they come straight towards this forward camera. So from here, what essentially happens is if I step up to the ball and I go to the top, my pressure's incorrect in the backswing in my right foot. Let's just say it's on the outside part of the foot. And then I come down and I spin, I go up onto the toe. You can see how it takes out all my space right here. So the only place the arms can move is over the top. Not going to be a good position. Versus if you have the pressure in the inside part of the foot in the backswing, you can now push off that inside part of the foot. That is part of what is going on in terms of shifting us back. And again, what direction is this right foot pushing us? It's pushing us slightly on the diagonal. So if you were to sort of take the point where your left foot is and where the golf ball is, it's sort of pushing you in between those points right there in that direction. Now here's the thing. The right leg is pushing in that direction, but the left leg is pushing in a completely different direction. It is actually pushing sort of up and back towards that tree right there. The best analogy I can give you is if I drop the club down, which direction are the legs pushing in? The same direction as if you were to do a 180 jump. And you can see as I did that, if I push my right leg in this direction and my left leg back in this direction, you combine the two and boom, that's how you get that 180 jump. So again, what is happening in transition? Very first thing that we're doing is we are pushing into our left leg and the right leg is naturally pushing off as well. So I want you to feel like you are starting to ground that lead foot as much as possible. The pressure's already in the ball of the lead foot. We want to feel like we can ground it again, so it's fully planted. As soon as we get it fully planted, again, the trail leg is going to start to continue to push, but we are going to find that then we can start to push back towards the heel. Now, one of the key things about getting into a great impact position is with the lead leg, we want to be feeling like the pressure gets into the heel as fast as possible. And you can actually see I can slide my club under the toe. I don't really want to see people go too much onto their toes in the downswing. And the trail foot, the pressure obviously is on the inside part, and then it starts to bank onto sort of the inner part of the big toe as we go through. Now, this isn't going to be the right matchup for everybody. So for some golfers who, from the downline view, have less depth at the top of the backswing, you will see Justin Thomas, fantastic example, you will see that their lead leg will actually kick very much onto the toe very quickly. Now, part of this is it kicks sort of inwards in this direction. He's still pushing himself in that direction, but what's happening is he is then giving himself space to secondary tilt, and that is the form that he uses to actually shallow it out. So just know that everybody is going to have a slightly different footwork, but the basic premise is the right leg's pushing you in this direction, left leg is pushing yourself up and back that way, and the way that the left leg is doing it is it's going from on the ball of the foot to flat to the heel part, and that is very much how we move the pressure in the feet. Now let's move on to how the knee should be working in the downswing. So at the top of the backswing, or roughly around this little left arm parallel position, we saw that the left knee was working inwards and gaining some flex, and the right leg was losing some flex, getting a little bit straighter. That gave us some great inclination to the pelvis, and that put us in a great position to where now we can start in the downswing. So what we then see as we push into the left foot and we replant that left foot, we'll see the knee very much lead the way, and it will get back over the ball of the left foot very, very quickly. So if I do that here, you can see as I do that, my knee gets back over the ball of the left foot very quickly. Now, once it's done that, then we now start to push out of the ground. And the key is to try and get that leg back to a straight position as fast as possible. Now, what I don't want you to do is just straighten the leg. That's going to achieve nothing. If anything, it's just going to cause you injury. Instead, I want you to feel like it's a very dynamic movement. So what that'll feel like is the knee goes over the ball of the foot, and then it goes back to a straight position there as you push into the heel. That's going to give you some great rotation, ultimately get you into a much better position. Now, again, I see so many amateurs fall into the trap of where this leg just sort of stays bent forever. Maybe the knee sort of gets stuck in this direction and they cannot use that lead leg correctly. So as you are pushing, or as you sort of replant that lead foot, you want to be feeling like the knee goes first, then you can start to push out and get that left leg going back to a straight position as fast as possible as you push back into the heel. Now, what about the right knee? Well, we all know what the bad movement of the right knee looks like. Either we'll see players sort of stay locked out in the transition. That again gets them up into that position. That's more of a backswing issue, I would say, because they would tend to have locked out there. So make sure that as you turn back, you do maintain some knee bend. The other one is very much where the knee goes that way towards the ball, blocks you out. From there, you have to swing over the top, or you have a huge amount of dump under, which isn't good for anybody. So what we'll be seeing as we push off the right leg, we'll be seeing the knee work in and then towards the lead knee. And I think that's the best way of thinking of it. This foot is going to work very much in and towards the lead knee. That's going to help you get into some great impact positions right there. So that's the feet, that's the knees. Now let's talk about the hips. Now when it comes to the hips, the key thing that I want you to understand is we have to keep depth. So we have to keep the hips back. So at the top of the backswing, we have turned this trail hip deeper behind us. Now, imagine there is a wall behind me right here. You would see that if there was a wall, your right butt cheek would be touching that wall. What I want you to feel like is as you push into the ground is you keep the right butt cheek touching the wall, and then you try and get the left butt cheek back to meet it. And then as you push through, the left butt cheek is the only thing connected to the wall. So it goes right butt cheek, both left butt cheeks. And again, that's going to be the best way of you learning what it feels like to keep the hips back. So let's now run through 4 drills that are going to complement everything that we've just spoken about right here. And these are all very structured, so no matter which part you're sort of struggling with, there is a drill that's going to help you with it. Now, the first drill that we're going to talk about is going to help us with getting that lead foot replanted again. The best drill is the step drill. How do we perform it? Well, what you're going to do is set up to the golf ball normally, and then from there bring your lead foot so it's level with the ball. Now, as you swing back, roughly as your hands get somewhere around with your sort of belly button, chest height, you're just going to do a little step back to your left foot, and you're going to feel that left foot plant, and then you can just swing all the way through. Again, this is just a nice exaggerated feeling of what it feels like to plant that left foot, get that weight back to that left side, and then you can start to turn all the way through. Let me show you what that one would look like. So set up to the ball right here. lead foot level, then I'm going to swing back and step and swing all the way through. Just like so, and that's helps me get all my weight back towards the lead side, and I can very much feel that lead foot start to plant. So drill number 2 is going to help you with your right leg movement. If you are that golfer who kicks that right knee in, then this is going to be your favorite drill. So we've got an alignment stick here and a basket. Now the aim of this drill is to set up to the golf ball, roughly position this about a club head width outside of your knee, and you can see this is roughly at or just below my knee height. It's obviously on a bit of a slant right here, but it's at or just below my knee height. You could even bring it in slightly more across the body, just like so, so you can see it roughly comes to the middle of the stance. Now, if I set up to this golf ball, if I want to make this drill harder, I'll get closer to the alignment stick. Easier, I'll get further away. Now, the aim of this is to make a swing and swing all the way down and through without touching that alignment stick. If your knee kicks out, you're obviously going to touch the alignment stick. So this is going to teach you what it feels like. A, keep the pressure in the inside part of the trail foot in the backswing, push off of it this way, and then get that knee working all the way through. Now, to start with, if you do struggle with this, do some swings that say three-quarter length swings, half length swings. Just start small, then gradually build it up. However, I'm just going to go full pelt at it. So let me take a look at this. I've got it relatively close. You can see downline view, maybe just under a club head width away. Let's see if I can make a swing without touching that alignment stick. And all the way through, and you can see as I did that, I was able to get my knee towards the lead knee, and that gave me loads of space, actually resulted in about a 1 or 2 yard draw. So the next drill is for those golfers out there who struggle with their hips coming forwards. Now all you need is some sort of an object. I have a chair here. Again, you can use sort of a deck chair, you can use anything like that, something that's roughly going to come up to your glutes or maybe just below to the upper part of your hamstrings. And again, this is going to be used for us making sure we can keep that pressure back. Now, if I take this and I set up to the golf ball right here, and I have this, you can see this one is potentially just a little bit too low right here, but you can see in this position, if I turn my hips correctly, I can maintain connection right there, maintain connection on the way through with the left hip. And my key feeling is I am trying to push my hips back, pushing back, pushing back, pushing back, all the way to try and keep connection with this the whole time. Now, like I said, ideally it would come up a little bit higher, but you got to make do with what you got, haven't you? So the key feelings that I'm having is as I start down, I want to start to push that left hip back, pressure's going to go into the left heel, and then from there, I'm going to be able to rotate through a lot better. So let me give this a go for you right here. Let me get set up to the ball first and then bring this in. You can see I've got good connection right here. I'm going to go right hip back, left hip back, and this is going to allow me to make sure I maintain good hip depth throughout the swing. Here we go, right hip back, left hip back, and you can see as I did that, lovely little draw, and again, maintain good hip depth. Again, not the most ideal chair. I'd use something with a little bit of fabric, a little bit of cloth to give you a bit of give, and something that would also come up a little bit higher, but that's going to help you learn what it feels like to keep that good hip depth throughout your whole swing. So the final drill could actually be probably my favorite out of all of them. Now this is just going to sort of bring everything all together, and it's called the preset impact drill. So what you're going to do is set up to the golf ball normally, then from there preset your great impact position. How do we do that? We're going to move some pressure onto the lead leg whilst keeping the head back. Feel like we can push the pressure back. You can sort of see the toes are slightly off the ground. My right foot's banked in. Again, you can just feel what it feels like to get into this good impact position. Now, once you're in that good impact position, and again, it's not going to look the same for everybody. We don't all have the same flexibility levels, so don't try and copy your favorite golfer. Copy what's realistic to you. Now, once you're in that good position, we are then going to turn from this point. So we're going to go from here, we're going to turn, and then we're going to try and return back to this point. Now, the biggest issue I see when players do this is they start at a certain height, because naturally as we get into this good impact, you can see my head's dropped. But what they then do is they then turn and then they come back and they get taller. Imagine I'm stood there with an alignment stick on the top of your head, so you can't come up. That's going to force you to kind of push that left hip back, ultimately get you into a better impact position. Let me show you what this looks like. Just do some half swings, but again, this is going to allow you to feel what it feels like. Exaggerate this as much as possible. So normal setup, preset impact, turn back, turn through, and you can see as I do that, wow, that was a really nice strike. I should do that more often. But that is going to help you learn what it feels like to get into that good position, good pressure in the feet, good leg action, good everything. So there you go, that is how you move your lower body in the downswing, especially focusing on the pressure in the feet, then the knees, and then sort of the hips and the glutes and how that should all work. Now, if you have questions about that, please drop it down below. I answer all of my comments. If you have enjoyed today's video, please give it a like and subscribe. And also, if you need a little bit more one-to-one help with your game, I offer online coaching on the Skillist platform. The link is down below. I would love to help you with your game on a one-to-one basis, no matter where you are in the world.